I don't ever slow up, no I don't take I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.
If you're a criminal, you'll be deported. If you plan to enter the U.S. illegally, your chances of getting caught and sent back just went up. The actions I'm taking are not only lawful, they're the kinds of actions taken by every single Republican president and every single Democratic president for the past half century.
Hello, everybody. You heard what President Obama just said there. It sounds familiar, doesn't it? It's what the current president has also said, and it's what other presidents have said. I believe going back to at least George Bush II. But what I wanted to talk about was I heard somebody saying, actually there's more than one, talking about how families are being separated and stuff. Well, people are being separated all the time. When somebody commits a crime and goes to prison, nobody says anything about that. Nobody says nothing. Nobody protests or riots because innocent people are charged. There's a lot of innocent people in prison. When I say a lot, I guess overall it's not that many, but one's too many. Nobody's protesting about that. Nobody says nothing until it happens to one of their own. And then they're all up in arms about it. Then all of a sudden they want to become part of prison advocacy groups and prison reform and justice and all this and that. But they don't really do it until something happens to one of their own. But people, something has changed between when Obama was in office and now. Well, you had Biden who just let them all come in. But that's different. He was like the exception to the rule. But they've all said if you're a criminal, you're here illegally. Well, you're a criminal anyway if you entered the country illegally. But what they're saying is if you're a criminal, you're part of a criminal organization, and you're here illegally, you're gone. And I agree with that. I agree 100% with that. But it seems like some people are forgetting their hatred for the current president is so much, they've forgotten that this is all... Other presidents have said this on both sides of the aisle. You know, but my thing is, nobody's protesting things that's happening in our country with our citizens. You know, like innocent people being put in prison. You don't see riots over that. And I ain't talking about things like George Floyd. I understand that. And people had a right to be mad about that. But I'm talking about those who get sentenced to prison and years later it comes out that they're innocent. Some of them has even been executed. But they found out they were innocent. There's a cat somewhere in a store. I'm going to have to look for it after this. But there's some of them's been executed. And yet everybody says, oh, well, or they don't pay it no mind. They don't pay it no mind until it's one of their own. And then they have a problem with it. Then they're all wanting to, we got to do something, we got to do something. Well, why wasn't you doing something when it was happening to the other people? But no. And I think, this is just my opinion, I could be wrong on this. I think in a lot of these protests and riots and stuff, it's peer pressure. People are doing it because their friends are doing it. They want to be part of it. Some of it, you know, I've heard and I believe this has been paid for, you know, that it was organized. But it doesn't matter. The thing is, what has changed between when Obama and now, and why ain't we protesting in our own citizens that have been like innocently put in prison or some injustice done to them? Not just one once in a great while, but all of them. And we talk about crimes in this part of the country, crimes in this part of the country. It seems like, especially the media, picks and chooses where they want to talk about something bad happening. When it's actually, there's bad things happening all over this country. You know, a black person gets shot by a cop, and it makes the news, makes national news. Especially if it was done, it shouldn't have been done. It makes news, and it should. But if it's a white officer on a white guy, you won't hear about it. And that has happened, like down in southern Missouri. We need to get our priorities straight, people. We're a mess. We really are. You know? And there's a lot of people out there that's just being like Karens and stuff too, over stuff like this. The smallest thing they'll get up in arms about, and there's more important things to be going on about. And besides whether somebody cut grass and their grass clippings ended up in your yard. That's nothing to call the cops over. It's nothing to call the cops over mowing the grass and the grass getting out in the street. People do it though. They'll call the cops. But then something serious happens and everybody's, I didn't see a thing. Oh, people are a mess. We're a mess, people. We need to get our act together. Anyway, I thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.
We are dreaming in the dark. We are nothing more than dust. Search but you stay lost. We are reaching for the stars.